welcome to today's video. Paulo P13 here. Today I am finishing off my initial review and in-depth explanation of all of these raid ranks with the final class, the support class. I am sorry I've been a little short on videos lately. I've been crazy busy. Had some family come to visit. I am basically on the go 24/7. So I am just making videos in when I have 20 minutes of time. I will record what I can and just going as fast as I can for you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more content out on a bit more regular of a basis pretty soon. So a few things that I've been working on, but just a little behind schedule. So thanks for bearing with me, and hopefully I'm back on track soon. So support's a pretty interesting topic of characters for raids, because that's where most of the healing comes in the game. So it's pretty interesting. I'm going to clump a bunch of these characters together, and some I'll talk about on their own, maybe. No, most of these characters are probably going to end up clumped together. Anyways, let's get into this. First off, we have a group of 3, starting with Scientist Supreme here. Scientist Supreme is by far the worst named character in the game. She makes the Hulk look good in many situations, but she has her occasional uses with her special. Her ultimate can be quite horrible, but her special can be helpful. Aim Researcher, not very good. Hydra Scientist, again, just a one-person heal, not very good heal, 10% and up to 15% of his health. It's okay, but it's a single target. That's all there really is to him. His passive isn't even that great. It's just underwhelming. All of these characters are bad to underwhelming. So how does this really reflect in their raid ranks? You can see all of these characters on their own are considered quite bad for raids. They're all no. There's a basic no, a special no, and an ultimate no. Really, none of these characters need much more explanation than don't use them. If you encounter synergy, you get, well, there's one special part here, but Aim Researcher and Hydra Scientist, again, don't use these characters. I moved Scientist Supreme up quite a lot to basic why not when counting synergy, and that's for something I call crazy enough it just might work, and that's not necessarily synergy, but in very specific situations, Scientist Supreme can be useful for like a singular node here and there because of her special. Like you get a whole lot of heal block, Scientist Supreme can make that all, I believe, regen, so there is a little bit of use there, but overall the character's not great. Still wouldn't recommend it, but you know, why not for that one situation. Now, suicide teams don't use these characters. That pretty much covers these characters. That they're not great, don't really use them unless you have a node where you're getting a lot of debuffs and you want to flip them. Okay, next set of 3 characters. Ravager Stitcher is an interesting healer. He can heal up to 2 targets. Not a lot of healing, unfortunately, but it's something, and his passive isn't overly useful, but he can put bleed on his basic, which is pretty decent. Again, not a very good character. Next you have Hand Sorceress, who's a bit better of a character. Does some decent damage, moves pretty fast. Let's check the actual speed here, 105, that's not bad. Her heal does okay healing, not massive, but you know, it's better than a lot of the other heals. Plus, it adds defense up to the people that are healed, which is really, really nice. So that really gives Hand Sorceress an edge up on a lot of the other healers. Now, Mercenary Lieutenant, he's not exactly a healer, but he is a supporter because he can give offense up and speed up. But he does heal occasionally with he has a % chance to heal for a pretty significant amount for the lowest health ally every time he takes a turn. So that can be quite nice. Mercenary Lieutenant is actually a very, very good character, but not necessarily a healer. So how does this really reflect in raids? Well, Ravager Stitcher did not do well. He's a basic Y. I have Hand Sorceress as a special why not, because she's not a bad healer. There's just better options. Mercenary Lieutenant is an ultimate why not. He's a really good character and can be very helpful. And his healing is more just a bonus. So he's a nice support character to have. When you account for synergy, Ravager Stitcher doesn't move at all. Hand Sorceress doesn't move at all. Mercenary Lieutenant actually takes a bit of a step back. The reason is there's not a really good synergy to put Mercenary Lieutenant in that'll help with longevity, so it kind of hinders his ability to reach his full potential for raids if you're putting him on a team that has synergy with, because that really prevents the longevity because there's not enough healing. But for suicide nodes, it's a bit different. Ravager Stitcher falls major down. Hand Sorceress falls down. They're both no tier. Don't really use them for suicide nodes. But Mercenary Lieutenant goes way up, all the way up to a basic yes. He's great because that offense up and speed up can really help you take down a hard node. So really, Hand Sorceress is usable in most situations. Mercenary Lieutenant as well. But Mercenary Lieutenant is really good for a suicide node. Ravager Stitcher should not be used. This next group of 3 is actually a really good grouping. Ironic, really, but we have Shield Operative, who has a nice Dispel, and a really good single target heal, which is amazing, and has some really good synergy with Nick Fury and the rest of the Shield minions. And then there's Nick Fury, one of the best characters in the game, absolutely amazing. Great summons, very nice heal, just overall great character. Then we have Shield Medic, who back in the day was not a very good healer, but now her heal's just in general pretty good for anyone, but also has a very big bonus for shield minions and Nick Fury, so huge, amazing healer with the Fury shield team, and also has a chance to revive, which is nice. So overall, Shield Medic is actually a really good healer. All 3 of these characters are really good. But how does this really reflect in raids? Well, first off, on their own, Nick Fury is a really good character. He's a special, yes. Just doesn't make it to the very top because he doesn't fit as great in every single team. Shield Medic is a basic, yes, a very good healer, but there's better, especially without the rest of the team. Shield Operative seems to struggle the most when she's on her own. She's all the way as an ultimate Y. There's just better characters to use randomly. But if you put them together, they are all ultimate yes. They work amazing. Fury Shield is an amazing team. Throw Assault and Security on there, and it's a great raid team. Now, however, for suicide nodes, I treated this a little different. All 3 of these are ultimate Y. The reason is the Fury Shield team can take down a node on pretty easily. But if it's a suicide team, that's not a good idea to use Fury Shield because they're such a good team. You're really impeding their value if you're just throwing them as like a sacrifice. So I would recommend not doing it, but they can get the job done, of course. Okay, we're making some really good progress today. This one's going by a lot faster. We're quite happy about that. But we're going to do a group of 2 real quick. Here we have Kree Oracle, who used to be one of the worst characters in the game. But he's gotten better. His special actually is an okay heal, not the best, but it's a lot better than it was. His passive is also a little bit of a bonus. It's not as great if there's no creep, but it's nice to be able to get energy whenever someone is receiving energy. So he has a nicer kit than he did. Also has some added health. So he's a better character than he used to be, but obviously much better with a full Kree team. Now Groot. Again, he fits well with Kree Oracle in this set because they both got buffs, but didn't get buffed as much as people, I guess, were hoping for. However, Groot, in this game, doesn't seem like it, but he can be a real big game changer. He does a lot of stuff in this. He has a cleanse, which is incredible for raids. He has heal. It's not a great heal. He can give defense up and death proof. A lot of buffs when he dies. Also can revive himself. Can give slow when attacked. And does some pretty good damage. He works well with some really good raid teams, but people, I guess, wanted him to carry a team, but that's not his job. He kind of just fits well with a couple of specific teams. In raids, both of these characters, if just thrown into a random team alone, fall as a basic why not. They can do some really good things, but they're better with synergy, which you can see here because Kree Oracle becomes a basic yes, and so does Groot. Both of these characters work really well with the right teams. Actually, the team that I find the most successful team in raids in the entire game involves Groot. I tried Kree Oracle for a bit, but just because there wasn't enough Kree, it didn't fit quite as well. Now for a suicide node, Kree Oracle falls quite a bit. to special Y. Sorry, I kind of just forgot what I was saying. He just doesn't do enough damage. He's a little slow, so he doesn't do a lot there. But for Suicide Team, Groot is an ultimate why not. Even though he's slow, he adds extra damage to Rocket, which is amazing, and that can really be helpful. And he fits really well on a full Guardians team and a couple of other teams, so he can work well on a Suicide Team, despite his speed. Okay, and group of 3 characters here, which is a really interesting one because there's a bit of similarity between the first character and the third character and the second character and the third character, and I'll explain that in a second. So we're starting off here with Night Nurse, who for the longest time was the best healer in the game, and many still consider her a very good healer, and she is a good healer. She does a lot of heals, and her basic has a chance to apply slow, not a huge one, but you know, a 50% chance at level 6. She can heal very well, and she was a very good character for a long time. She still is, but she's not as elite as she once was. Next you have Doctor Strange, who his basic does not miss even when blind, which is nice and gives offense down. Not a lot of damage, but that's very useful. His special is really nice because it can flip all the buffs on the other team to debuffs, and that's really incredible. And his ultimate is a guaranteed revive. For the longest time, he was the only character in the game with a guaranteed revive. I'm sorry, I kind of said that a little funny. Anyways, so he's a really good character, but maybe not a very, very elite character. But he definitely has his uses still. He was better when he first came out, same as Night Nurse. Now there's a new character in the game, Minerva, who is absolutely insanely good. Like, the more you play with her, the more you realize how good she is. Like, I stopped leveling her, like, she's probably fine. And then I decided I'm going to keep leveling her until I physically can't anymore. Other than orange mats. Her orange mats aren't necessary. But she is basically the best of Night Nurse and the best of Doctor Strange and probably the best of a few other characters thrown together and just turned into this super incredible character. If you have Minerva, level her, use her. There's no better healer in the game. She is one of the best characters in the game, hands down. She's incredible. I could go on and on about her, but just she's really, really good. So how does this reflect in raids? I think you have an idea. But if you throw them on a random team, Minerva is an ultimate yes, one of the best characters in the game. I'm so in love with her kit. She is an amazing character. Use her, use her, use her. Doctor Strange, he isn't as high as he once would have been, but he's a special why not, because that revive can be very useful, and he can be funneled energy too. It's just a lot of energy, and not a great heal unless it's reviving, so it can have a little bit more use than it does. And I'd say Night Nurse is a basic yes, because she can still do a lot of healing when set up in the right team. If we count synergies, Minerva is still an ultimate yes, incredible character, just hands down, use her. Doctor Strange up to an ultimate why not, very usable in the right team, but there are better options. Night Nurse stays about where she is, not much changes with her. Now, Suicide Team, Minerva is an ultimate why not. She can be very useful in a Suicide Team, but she can keep your team alive and actually does a fair amount of damage with her ultimate. Her basic can be pretty good. The only issue is it's not a character you want to sacrifice. She's just too good. Now, Strange and Night Nurse join each other as special Ys. They could have some use. For instance, Doctor Strange's special can be very nice on a suicide node if the other team has a lot of buffs, but that's not where they're best suited because they're a little low on damage. Okay, last character here. I do want to say I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, make sure you hit that subscribe button. After this one, there's going to be a couple other videos on this, but it's going to be more as I unlock characters and as I test them out. I'm going to slowly edit them and add them into the list. I'm also going to do a quick edit of all of these lists and release a video on that of anything I changed after going over them. And I'll probably do that at the same time that I do my Killmonger, so it'll be like update 2.0 and I'll change a few details. But I have something to hold that on for, so can't tell you exactly when it's coming out, but it will be coming. A lot more content coming your way as I get time. Sorry I've been a little bit slow. But anyways, last character for these raid ranks, for now, Yondu. Yondu, for a long time, was considered one of the very best characters in the game. And he still is a really good character. He does a lot. He summons, has an AoE, can dispel. One of his summons can heal. He dispels a lot, can steal some buffs. Very good character. Just over time, other characters came in the game that are possibly better. So he's not quite as elite as he once was, but he's still a very good character. So how is this reflected in his raid ranks? If you throw Yondu in kind of on a random team, I'd say he's a basic yes. He does a bit of everything and he can be quite helpful. If you throw him on with a synergy team, about the same, because he doesn't really rely on synergy, but he's not hurt by any synergy either. And Suicide, how does he do? He takes a small step back. Ultimate, why not? That's because he can do some AoE. There's just better AoEs in the game now, but he's still a very good character. A lot of uses for a character such as Yondu, and he definitely is worth leveling up, but there's nowadays just better characters in the game. So that is the overview of how the supporters in this game do in raids. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry if my voice is a little funny. Still getting better, but I'm getting there, and more content coming your way soon, so I really do hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of all these ranks. Feel free to do that in the comments, or you can send me a message on Discord, and there's a link to that down in the video description, next to 2 other links, one for a Patreon and a Tippy if you're interested in either of those. It would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope these give you a good idea of some things, and this video series has been helpful. And as always, I'm here to help.